So, welcome. My name is WriterMaven. I am the host of the Wrestling Receipts podcast. I cover everything Judgment Day, which is Dom, Liv, Raquel, Finn, Carlito, JD, and I talk about Damian and Rhea. And boy, will I talk about Rhea in a minute. But this was the final Raw before WrestleMania 41, and this go home show was complete and utter ass. Other than the match between Liv and Bayley, and Finn versus Penta, the show was ass. We had no Judgment Day segments in the clubhouse. We had no promos. Um, we did have a tag of Judgment Day against Ron Breaker, but that's a little bit it. And I was kind of disappointed with how the outcome to Penta and Finn came out, but I'm going to explain why in a few minutes. But it was just ass. Everything was ass. Not everything was ass. It was just like for the show, it was just the all around meh. Like, I don't feel excited for WrestleMania. For me, I'm just ready for WrestleMania to get here, get over with, give me my results of Dom winning the Intercontinental title and Liv and Raquel retaining the tag team titles so we can move on from this. Like, I'm just done. Everything's just stagnated, and I'm just done at this particular moment. I'm just ready for things to start new, start fresh. Give me something new at this moment. But yeah, it's like I really didn't get much feeling to it. I'm just kind of watching it. I was bored. It was more exciting to read the comments about Rhea's promo, which I will get into, than the actual show itself. So let's start off with some pre-Raw stuff, shall we? Triple H and his infinite wisdom wanted to go on a show and talk about how he, he doesn't listen to the internet fans. They don't mean nothing for him. Yada yada yada. Now, the big accounts were all, sucking this up, sucking his dick, just saying like, oh, he burned the internet wrestling community. He burned those fans. The internet wrestling community isn't as important as he thinks it is. Yada yada yada. First of all, these people sucking on Triple H's ass or sticking on his dick, you know that you are a part of the internet wrestling community. I'm a part of the internet wrestling community. I'm going to comment. Like, just because the internet wrestling community, and we're not a monolith. Everybody has their own different opinions. But just because the internet wrestling community has been on Triple H's ass this whole build up into WrestleMania, and you don't like it, doesn't mean that our opinion doesn't matter. Yeah, he can book for the live shows, but the person sitting at home, the person that gives you those ratings that you so want and that Netflix want, they're not going to be sitting here yeeting away with Jay. Yeah, the audience and the crowd at the show is going to be happy to yeet for Jay for 10 minutes, but is the people at home going to be wanting to yeet for 10 minutes? I don't yeet when Jay comes on. Like, yeah, the fan participation at the live show is cool and everything, and you saying you're writing for them, but at home is a whole disconnect, and that's the thing here that he's failing to realize. There's a disconnect between the home viewer and people at the show. And yeah, you can write for the people at the show, but if you keep doing that, your ratings are going to decline. There's a balance. And it's funny how he's saying he doesn't, write for the internet, but, who's on the internet right now? The WWE. Who do they tout when they want views and they want to talk about views of Rhea's ass? They put it on there. Oh, we got over 1 million views over Rhea's ass. The WWE will tout that. Like, if the internet's not so important, why do the views matter? Why do you shout it out? Why is it when the Cody Rhodes build last year, where we supposedly pivoted on the road to WrestleMania 40, then why was it the internet? Why did the internet matter then? Triple H is just completely tone deaf. This is the same man that says he doesn't see color, where we're just looking at right now about how many like black guys aren't even at WrestleMania right now. Like, you're just tone deaf, and I've been watching wrestling for over 30, 40 years. I know how race plays into the WWE, and that's just something you kind of have to grit and bear. You want it to be better, but you kind of grit and bear it when it comes to certain people. And like right now, I'm looking at Carmelo Hayes not going to be on the WrestleMania card. He came up with Braun Breaker and Tiffany and all them, but he's not going to be on the card. He's paired up with The Miz, and I like The Miz, but why is Carmelo having to be paired up with The Miz? Carmelo is doing bangers with Andrade, but he's going to be off the card. And you're going to tell me I don't see color. Bullshit. Triple H was just completely talking out of his ass. If the internet doesn't matter, we wouldn't have all these videos on the internet. You wouldn't have your YouTube channel, you wouldn't have your Instagram account, you wouldn't have TikTok, you wouldn't have your X account, you wouldn't have all these accounts. You wouldn't be touting the views, you wouldn't be touting the engagement, you wouldn't have that damn speed title that nobody can see. Triple H just needs to stop. He's just pissed off that people are turning on his ass when it comes to his booking. Yeah, they might lap up his booking in the arena, but everybody has been turning on Triple H. They are realizing that the process is fucked. They are realizing that to have patience, that's fucked up. You can't tell people to be having patience. You can't tell people to have to trust the process anymore. People are getting wise to Triple H's shit, and he doesn't like that. So he's gonna act like Vince McMahon and just stick his head in the sand, or he's just gonna do it his way. And then when he's gonna act like, oh, that's my plan all along. Because remember, like when John Cena turned heel, he's like, are y'all happy about WrestleMania now? Like it was just a turn. The build still sucked, and it sucks now. Just because John Cena did that big heel turn doesn't mean that the build to WrestleMania hasn't been ass, and it's been ass. So Triple H can miss me with all that bullshit. So I think it's only a matter of time before Netflix starts putting its foot down on certain things. Like Netflix has a lot more leeway than people think. Now he was saying like Netflix has no input into creative. Nah, it's gonna be a matter of time. When you're messing with other people's money, sooner or later the chickens come home to roost, and they're gonna be wanting returns on that money invested. And if they don't like the trends, they're gonna start rattling sabers about it. It's only a matter of time. But anywho, I just wanted to talk about that because I just couldn't believe like these big, large internet accounts that were just all kissing Triple H's ass. Oh, he just roasted the internet. Like you're a part of the internet. Why would you be happy about that? Like the internet can't exist where people can complain about what they're seeing or voice their opinions. Yeah, you have people that just act off the wall, but the internet gives community where if things are going really well, you'll have people really excited and wanting to talk about stuff. It's not all negative. And yeah, people are going to fantasy book, but that's just the beauty of being a wrestling fan. You're going to fantasy book from time to time. You're going to go like, hey, if they do this, and this might work. And that doesn't mean you have to take everybody's opinion into consideration. You can just you just have your finger on the pulse of what's going on. And that's pretty much, I think I would ask of Triple H. Just have your finger on the pulse of what's going on. Yeah, internet and the live crowd may not jive, but if the internet is seeing something, usually they have it for good reason. But that's just my opinion on things. But Triple H can suck it. Let's get into Raw, shall we? Raw, the walk-in. Did y'all notice that the walk-in of Judgment Day was sponsored by not Wild Wings, Wingstop? So our boy is getting his coin, Dominik Mysterio. That walk-in was pretty interesting. We had Carlito sporting JD's shirt, talking to Raquel. Liv was all hooked up on Dominik. Dom wasn't really saying anything. And he's kind of being more quiet, and I've noticed that. And then Finn is just talking all his shit. Like Dom is pretty much not paying him no mind. So that was just a really interesting dynamic. Because Liv wasn't really engaging with Finn either. Like, Liv and Finn were not Liv, like Liv and Dom were kind of separated away from Finn. Like Finn is kind of like off by himself, but you notice how Carlito is always talking with Raquel, so he's kind of connected in with Raquel, and then Liv is with Dom, so Finn is kind of isolated on his own. Um, then we hit actual Raw, and then we hit Liv and Bayley. This was a really good match. Liv is going hard for somebody that has a title match on Sunday, but Liv and Bayley were banging it out. I do like how she did a Three Amigos off the steps to the floor on Bayley, and then she took the time to do the shimmy after that Three Amigos connected. And I'm like, how can you smile? You know, you're screaming in pain, but you take the time to do the shimmy. Like that's some dedicated character work right there. But it was a good match. There's nice, really nice spots, code breakers, backstabbers, things like that. Liv lost because Bird Girl Lyra held up Bayley from getting the Oblivion, and then Bayley rolled her up. But I expected that loss. I mean, you have to do something with the to build into WrestleMania because Lord knows they didn't waste all this time from Elimination Chamber. So I expected that loss. I do like Liv's expression after the loss. Like she was boring Hove into Bayley and Lyra. Raquel had a really good sell of like that what was it, that DDT, second rope DDT from Bayley. And I did not like from the fans though, like when Raquel did it was like a small botch. Like she was trying to get Liv's foot on the rope to stop the count and she couldn't, and like Liv's foot kind of flopped down there before, to break. So it kind of flopped down and she got it back up there. But people were starting to jump on Raquel for that. And I'm like, it's a small botch. Things shit happens. I mean, you would have thought that Raquel had like messed up the whole entire match by the way some people were reacting on the X. I'm like, maybe Liv, wasn't stretching far enough to get to the rope. Like, come on. It's just a small botch. It's still the match proceeded as scheduled. It was small. It didn't take you out of the moment. Bayley still got the win. Like, why are we jumping down Raquel's throat? See, this is what I don't like sometimes when it comes to Raquel because it seems like everybody's just hyper focused on what she does, and then if something happens, then they want to go, oh, Raquel's messing up. She shouldn't be with Liv. You know what I mean? And that's not fair to her. Like she doesn't get the same grace like other people would get. Um, and then I found it funny that for the women's triple threat match, we finally got promos. I really didn't pay that much attention with not Bayley, with Bianca and Io. Bianca was talking about Naomi and Jade still, so I'm still thinking they're gonna cost her at WrestleMania. And Io, I really didn't pay attention to, but Rhea's, holy shit, what the fuck was that promo? Like, that promo was wild. It didn't make a lick of sense. It didn't make she was all over the place. She was rewriting history. Nothing made sense in that promo. Like the high spots were like she said that Bianca played with her feelings. Like how is Bianca playing with her feelings just by cheering both you and Io? Like the fuck? Like, are you that delusional that everybody has to cheer for you and you only? This would be some good character work if we didn't have all this mess from this year and last year. Like, if this was happening last year, I could kind of believe it more. But they've rewritten so much stuff to make her in the right. When you come across this now, it don't make no sense. And then he said that Io whined so she could get a title match. Woman, you cost Io an opportunity at Elimination Chamber. And then you said later on that you felt sorry for her and gave her the title shot. How was Io whining? And Io was completely within her right to complain about Rhea interfering in her match and costing her that shot. Like, what did she expect Io to do? Suck it up? And Io didn't whine. She complained to Rhea that one time, and then that was it. And then she just reminded her that, hey, you cost me the shot. And it's true. Like, What the fuck? And then this was the kicker. This is what people really started to pay attention to. She said that she will fight for who she loves. People immediately keyed in onto Dom and they started saying, well, and I said this, me and Heels Corner, my absolute buds, go check out their podcast too. Me and Heels Corner said the exact same thing on the X. And we said that, oh, okay, I guess you didn't love Dom then. She's talking about she fights for who she loves. She didn't fight for Dom. So immediately she invalidated her own statement by her actions in the past. If she says she's gonna fight for who she loves, then how come you didn't fight for Dom? And I was just saying, okay, this just proves that she never did love Dom, and maybe her stands now can get off his dick and leave him alone. She never loved him. So the whole promo was contradictory, didn't make sense. Everything was jacked up as fuck. And I do like how people were just picking up on like that whole promo just not making sense. And I even said at this particular moment, I'm like, just give Rhea the title. Just go on and give it to her. I mean, she's gonna just keep going on this whole little rant, these whole crying, this whole begging until she finally gets the title back. Just give it to her. Give it to her, then ship her off to some SmackDown. I can't deal with it anymore. You know, if she can't exist without the title, then that's just on her and that's on Triple H. Give her the title, ship her off to somewhere else. I'd rather deal with Charlotte. It's that bad. I would rather deal with Charlotte because I think Charlotte's going to win that title. I'd rather deal with Charlotte. At least with Charlotte, we don't get this delusions of grandeur here. Rhea is just something else completely different, and it just really shows like Triple H's favoritism to her. I really said that he really needs to get some therapy about China and just get over it because his obsession with Rhea is really wrecking the women's division because nobody else can come out and go out on top with him favoring her like he does. Like he needs some therapy or something. Um, moving on, more Raw. Braun Breaker got attacked prior to the Penta and Finn match by Dom, Finn, and Carlito. This was during Braun Breaker's match with what was it with Jackie? I want to say. And then they beat him up, and then that rolls into Finn versus Penta. Um, Good match. Um, Penta got DQ because of Braun's interference. Carlito did the hilarious thing by running and jumping over the announce table to avoid a Braun spear. Um, Braun then speared Dom and Carlito at the same time. Finn ran off, and then when Braun was targeting Penta, Penta turned it on Braun, and then Penta stood tall. Now, Dom is now the only person that did not stand tall through this whole Bill's WrestleMania. I don't really have a problem with it. My problem is that I don't like how Dom didn't get like a moment to himself, like Intercontinental title wise. Like you had Penta stating his entrance, Finn obviously stating his entrance. Braun has the title, but with Dom, he doesn't. And I know there's probably a reason for that. Like he's making himself not to be like so obvious where people overlook him. But to me, like you could have at least snuck in like a small moment for him where maybe nobody else is paying attention, but the audience is, where it's just Dom's moment. Like I said, I get what they're trying to do, but I just kind of wanted him to have a moment. He didn't have to stand tall because I do think they're saving Dom standing tall for his win at WrestleMania. I do think that, but it would have been nice just to have Dom have a nice small moment to himself, maybe with Liv and Raquel, and then maybe they're quietly discussing something, and you could just give Dom that small moment. That's my quibble there. And I don't really like how Dom keeps getting speared and stuff like that. Like, kind of like Dom get some offense, like more offense now. I know he's chicken shit, but give him a little bit more offense. And that was it. And then I did have a comment of Roman acting like he saw Heyman cheating on him with CM Punk, and that whole like picture that I took or screenshot I took of that was hilarious. The whole ending sequence with Seth, Punk, and Roman. It's like I'm right at this point. I'm like, I really don't care. I really don't care that Seth used the chair like he did when he betrayed Roman the first time. Like, I don't care. Let's just get to the match. Just get it. Let's just get it over with. And then we had the Starbucks latte El Grande Americano versus not El Grande. Well, he did show up. It was Julius and Ray, and we had that match. And it was okay. And then who else was there a match? Oh, like Karrion Kross and AJ. And I do like that they brought back Karrion's original entrance because I always liked Karrion Kross's original entrance. So I'm glad they brought that back. And then Logan Paul shows up. He gets booed. But have y'all noticed with Logan Paul that his boos aren't booing like they used to? Like with Dom and Gunther, they get booed out the building. Logan Paul seems like his is diminishing. Like, I'm not getting the point of having him stick around. Like, see, that's another thing too. Triple H is talking about internet and stuff like that. Why is Logan Paul still around? Like, if you don't want the views or something like that, why do you have Logan Paul on the show now in a prominent position? Like, we could have had somebody else in Logan Paul's position. We could have had Chelsea Green on the card. We could have had Nia Jax on the card. We could have had Carmelo, anybody else. But we got to deal with Logan Paul's ass. And people want to say, well, Logan Paul's athletic and he does good matches. I would expect Logan Paul to do some good matches if he had months and months to rehearse the match. Logan Paul rehearses the crap out of the matches. If you look at Logan Paul's match with Ray, like earlier this year, Ray had to call out all those spots. He was lost. He is not a wrestler. He can rehearse a match. Logan Paul is like Bad Bunny. You remember when Bad Bunny had matches against John Morrison, and then he had the match against Damian Priest? Like, those are rehearsed matches, but nobody was saying Bad Bunny was going to be over here wrestling and he's a good wrestler and all that. That's what Logan Paul is. He can rehearse. If you can rehearse the match, then of course I would expect you to be good at it. If you can rehearse all your spots and make and hopefully you don't have to call any audibles, then the match is going to probably be good because you rehearsed it. That's just how Logan Paul is. But anyway, so that's that. That was Raw. Now, come WrestleMania, they might do like a Bayley might not turn. By the way, Liv was looking at Lyra and Bayley. We might not get that Bayley turn. It might be Liv going after Lyra for that IC strap, because that's what I'm thinking that needed to happen in the first place. You just have Liv go after IC, make Liv the double champ, have Becky come back up, and then Becky and Liv could be fighting over the IC. And I think that might what they might go. I would not be surprised if we get some kind of stipulation later on this week where it's like winner take all, and then it ends up with Liv pinning Lyra for that title at WrestleMania. Dom wise, I said my piece on Dom, but yeah, everybody else stood tall but him, and I do think they are saving that for WrestleMania. At this particular moment, it doesn't make sense for Dom not to win. I have to put everything with 80-20, with 20% for Triple H's bullshit. But right now, Dom is looking good to win it. And it makes sense. Because he can just go in. And then you did notice during Michael Cole and Pat McAfee's commentary, they did mention that Dom could pin Finn for the title. So they've already planted the seeds there. I saw some comments on the Reddit where they were just saying, well, this could be like a start of Dom's face turn. I really don't think so. This is not going to be a face turn. At most, Dom might get toward a tweener-ish status, kind of like Eddie. But I think we're really going to get that triple heel turn from Dom. He's going to get the pop for the win because everybody wants him to win. And that's usually what happens anyway. When somebody wins their title, you're going to get that pop. But he's gonna wrangle it some kind of way where he gets that triple heel turn. And just because Finn been acting like an ass all this time doesn't mean that Finn can't turn face, because that's what happened with Damien, and that's what happened with Rhea, and that's gonna happen with Finn, because they were all acting like asses and they still ended up face. And I was disappointed with the lack of clubhouse scenes. I was thinking we would get like one last clubhouse scene. Now we might get that. Um, we might get that on, like, in the lead in. Maybe on Saturday we'll get a clubhouse scene, like a final clubhouse scene, or Sunday we might get that. So maybe they're trying to save it for then, like the final clubhouse scene. And then the bonus points with Finn and not having a clubhouse scene is that we didn't have to hear him negging like Liv, because that's what I was expecting. Like, I was expecting we were gonna get that clubhouse scene and he's just gonna like neg Liv or Raquel about them losing, or Liv losing, and we didn't get it. And I was kind of glad, because I really did not want to hear that again. Like, I'm over it. Like, I'm done with Finn's negging. Like, we need to just go on and turn on him, let Dom win, turn on Finn, kick him out of Judgment Day, let him go, because I'm just tired of all that negging. Thanks for tuning in to the Wrestling Receipts podcast. Remember to follow me on the X at WMaven, WWE, and on TikTok at WriterMaven for more wrestling insights and live reactions every Monday night after Raw. Until next time, I'm just saying.